time for Bryan's Lunch Truck. And now here's your host, Bryan Moots.
All right, this is Bryan's Lunch Truck Radio. This is CarpenterValleyRadio.com, and we have a great guest, Kristina Calkins of the Art Center. Is it the Linda Fairley Art Center, or can I just call it the Art Center?
The Linda Fairley Art Center.
Will lightning strike us if we don't say Linda Fairley?
Not at all.
Will funding stop if we don't say Linda Fairley?
Now that could be a whole nother radio show.
We'll say Linda Fairley. That's it. And you're here because I want you to talk about the upcoming, on Mother's Day weekend, the Artist Studio Walk.
Yes.
Yes, and that sounds exciting. So tell us a little bit about that.
Certainly. The Artist Studio Tour is Mother's Day weekend from 10 to 5. And so Saturday and Sunday, you can go around Carpinteria and Summerlin and go in the artist's studio. And oftentimes it's a cottage at the back of a property. It might be in someone's home, or it's a standalone studio. So it's an excellent opportunity to have an intimate experience talking to an artist. And insider tip, Joe Sachs at Palm Leaf Gallery also has tea tastings.
Oh.
And oftentimes there's wine or appetizers that you can have a chance to sit down and talk to the artists.
That's fantastic. Now, is this the first annual? Because I've been on one before years and years ago, and I can't remember it ever coming up again. Maybe the pandemic started.
The pandemic did make us pivot, and we actually went virtual, and I did home tours with my camera, and I'd go into people's homes, and they'd give us a tour, and some of those are still on our website.
But mine isn't. The one I submitted.
Oh, yeah, you were cut, Bryan.
Yes.
I think it must have been the bathrobe.
Yeah, was it? Well, it was. I was taking, as I say, kind of taking the mickey out of it.
Yeah.
And
now, do you shuttle the people around to these places, or how does that
No,
work?
everybody gets a map and they can drive themselves.
Okay.
And
Walk.
there's 23 different locations that they're able to go to, and the artists vary from pottery artists to, actually, we have the crafty ladies from the Carpinteria Community Church, and we have watercolor artists, a bonsai artist, and oil, and even an artist that works with seaweed.
oh, interesting. That's great.
Yes.
I remember last time, I'm sure it's like this, I looked at the map where the studio is located briefly, and some of them are on Vallecito. What's the furthest one out? I know there's one that's even further out than the street of Vallecito.
Yeah, it would probably be in Summerlin.
Okay.
We have at Porch, there is an artist, and that is John Randall Nelson at Porch this year.
And how would you describe his art?
It is American folk art, and it's like, if there is a theory behind it, he's quoted here as it's semiotics, the theory of signs.
Okay,
interesting.
I'm not sure what to say. I haven't seen his work, but I might have to
No,
go.
signs are an art form unto themselves.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see that. I'll be back, I think, in time for it, because I'll be gone.
So speaking of seeing it, in our gallery, the Charles LeBoux Gallery right now, located at 865 Linden Avenue in the heart of Carpinteria,
Very good.
we have an exhibit that is a sampling of all the Artist Studio Tour artists. It's like an appetizer course.
Right.
good,
And what are
very
the
good.
hours of the Art Center? What are the hours of the Linda Fairley Art Center?
Linda
actually-
Fairley Carpinteria Art Center.
Yes.
The Linda Fairley, nicest woman in the world, very generous, love you, Art Center.
Yes, and it's actually the Charles LeBoux Gallery. So we can say the same for Charles.
God.
We are a nonprofit, obviously. When you see names around, it's we need the community support to continue doing what we do. The gallery is open from 12 to 4, Thursday through Sunday. And on Mother's Day weekend, we'll have extended hours, 10 to 5.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, I'll tell you what, let's break into a song. Your first song, we always choose a guest has the first song. Dibs, I would say. It was American Pie. And Dennis, you said you had a story about American Pie?
Yeah, I'll tell you afterwards. Be listening especially to the last little, 30 seconds of the song.
Okay, ladies and
We
gentlemen.
all know it, and we all love it.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, CarpenterValleyRadio.com, Bryan's Lunch Truck Radio, American Pie, Don McLean. All right, it's Bryan's Lunch Truck Radio, CarpenterValleyRadio.com. Don McLean's American Pie. And Dennis, you said you had a story about that last line.
That last little bit there where there are two people singing along with Don. I don't know who one of them is, but I do know the other guy, and his name is Dennis Ferrante. An unknown name, but he produced everybody. He was in on so many legendary recording sessions, produced the Clash's second album for them.
Wow.
And had amazing stories. I had him on Breakfast with the Beatles about 10 years ago, and it was one of the best interviews I ever did. It was about 50 minutes of fascinating story after fascinating story. He's one of the guys singing along with Don at the end of the record.
That's awesome.
And he passed away about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. But Dennis Ferrante, I'm going to be rerunning that interview on the show sometime.
Oh, you should. You should.
Yeah.
And you picked this song. Why did you pick this song?
It's one of my favorite songs. It's a song I can listen to over and over again. And I think it brings back memories of riding in a pickup truck with my dad growing up.
We are just talking about that, and one of the universal aspects of this song, people have the singer's reasons he's singing Bye Bye Miss American Pie, what that means to the singer, Don McLean. But I think everybody has their own interpretation and what it means to them, what American Pie, what Bye Bye is, and the memories it brings up. It's just the lyrics, the music, the melody brings up. Yeah, I think
It
everybody
catches
has
everything. It's like 8 minutes and still not long enough, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and it's everybody, like I said earlier, everybody has their own interpretation, their own memories under the tent of the song, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what it does, and like you have, and I have my own. I think about just being a little kid riding the bicycle on Thousand Oaks with my friends.
Yeah,
you know, in 1969, 68, smoking cigarettes, breaking windows, robbing cars,
having fun.
Yeah, you know, what else would you do?
Well, speaking of good music,
Yes.
at the Linda Fairley Carpinteria Arts Center, our concert series is about to start. May 20th, we'll be kicking it off. It's a free community concert. The Nombres will be playing.
All right.
And we're just announcing the lineup. We have a concert every month, usually the third Saturday of the month, and all the way until October. We had to take the word summer off the concert series.
Why?
Because we
great.
kept extending
Oh,
it.
it's just
Great.
extended. Okay, yes,
Yes.
nothing wrong with that, that's for sure. And that's also the 20th is the same date, the same weekend as Ernie Merlan's Muralism, the city working with the Chalk Up Festival. And I believe that's going to be the band that'll be at your center that we're all invited to dance to.
It's going to be a great,
Exactly.
crazy day down there. It's going to be great.
It's going to be so fun, and the Carp Chalk Walk is a free event, and anyone can register, and it's that Saturday and Sunday, May 20th and 21st.
And they register at the Linda Fairley, wonderful woman that she is, Art Center.
Correct. It's 2023 Chalk the Walk, and you get to hang out on Linden Avenue and Carpinteria Avenue, create your own square, and then celebrate that evening at the free concert.
It'll be fun. It'll be really, really nice.
Oh, these are evening shows then?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
I'll answer for both of us. Yes, they are. And you get quite the crowd.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's from 6 to 9.
Oh, great.
And I think the community wishes it went longer. We always have to shut it
people
down.
out.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Time to go.
Yeah, I've done that before when I had to bartend in Malibu. You have to go. Why? Because it's 1:40 and I want to go. I won't be able to go to bed till 3 o'clock. Oh, fuck, dude.
In Vegas, I can still drink.
I've had that. I was like, in Vegas, let's stay up all night. No, this isn't Vegas.
Yes.
We do
Please.
have a bar available.
Yes.
So you can
Good.
check that out. It's
Yeah.
it's a way we try to earn funds.
Is that an open bar?
It is a no-host
not
bar.
how you earn funds.
It's no host bar. It's an open bar. And will be beer and wine? Or
Beer and wine.
Okay, that's
and we're
fine.
always looking for volunteers. So Brian, Dennis, come on down and show us how you can pour a
You
glass.
know what's really goofy is I'm working with Ernie Merlan, and then I'm going to Aliso School to meet the neighborhood in the 1st and 2nd district that
Yeah.
same day.
Yes. And the Chalk Walk is sponsored by the city of Carpinteria along with the Aliso School event.
Right.
So it's a happening weekend.
It's a good weekend. It's a good
Yeah.
community event weekend. And for anybody out there that wants to find maybe their niche in volunteering, it's a good weekend to discover. And when it comes to volunteering, the maximum I think you really quoted, I want to quote you, was from David Podrell, was, if it's not fun, I'm done.
Yeah.
And that's important. So if you volunteer, come on out. Extra hands are always needed in so many ways. There's so many organizations, but it's one of those things that if you do not like it after a while, it's okay. You put in your time, and that's what counts. You're investigating, and this is a great weekend again to find out. Maybe you'll find your niche and spend some time making Carpinteria the city it is.
That's a great motto for life. If it ain't fun, I'm done.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, no, it is. It really kind of is. I want to talk to you real fast. Next would be about what do you see as a future for the Linda Fairley Wonderful Woman Art Center?
Yes. Oh, the future is definitely bright at the Arts Center. We are the heart of Carpinteria and a community center. We're so much more than an art center. Our mission is connecting the community through the arts. And you'll see that the arts, it's an extra big S on our website. Right. And it's because we want it to be more than one type of arts. We want poetry reading, poetry contests. We just finished it.
How was that?
I can't tell you the results yet, but they're coming soon, actually, right. On that Mother's Day weekend, May 13th at 2 o'clock. Fantastic. We're having the Poetry Awards, so come on down, Bryan. And at the end of announcing the winners and the winners sharing their poetry, we will have an open mic. So
wow.
There you go.
Very nice.
To come share your poetry. And we want to be the culinary arts. We just hosted the 3 Rotary clubs in town having an international food fair.
What a great time.
Well,
I volunteered for that. That was awesome.
And who did you say South Africa?
Yeah, it was one of the most popular booths that everybody was stopping at and raving about the food.
What were they serving in the South Africa?
I couldn't tell you the name of it. It was a beef noodle kind of thing that had vegetables in it.
Chutney and curry.
Was it chutney? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Well, everybody was just raving about it. And I don't eat beef, so I didn't have any, but I could smell it. It was just heavenly.
Yeah, Mrs. Bowles' chutney is big from South Africa. So is curry.
Yeah.
I love curry.
There was an India booth that took care of that.
Yeah. 15 different countries were represented at that event.
And this is the first annual. This is the first one, isn't it?
Yeah.
That just helps promise for the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh one, you know.
A tradition around food? That sounds fabulous.
Yeah, who can argue with that? So you're finding that the community is supporting the Arts Center financially, emotionally, creatively. So you don't find any lacking. Is there something you need that you're not getting? I mean that.
And so I think the nature of a nonprofit is there's always the need because we'll always be fundraising. And to share a rookie story about myself, I have a corporate background. So I've now been with the Arts Center almost 6 years. And I remember my first year, we were finishing our capital campaign. And I said to our executive director at that time, "Oh, good. I'm glad this fundraising's done." The joke was on me.
Exactly.
It's always a component because unless you're a really big nonprofit and have a huge endowment where you can live off of, you're always looking to see how you can get other support so you can offer more incredible programs to the community.
And this community is very, very generous. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that all the construction costs were donated.
Not all construction costs, but a large portion of them. When we had the gallery remodeled and acquired the old Cajun Kitchen property, it was really like a modern day barn raising where so many of the contractors and the tradesmen volunteered their time and materials. It just was a warm and fuzzy experience for this, how the community came together. This really is the community arts center. We want everyone walking by to say, "That's my art center."
Right.
I helped do that.
You take people from out of town there. You just do.
Yes.
It's a great courtyard.
Yeah.
And can you describe, for people who haven't been there, can you describe the courtyard?
The Alan Koch courtyard. Correct?
It is.
Yeah.
The Carol and Alan Koch courtyard. It's the only big open space in downtown Carpinteria.
You haven't seen the space between my ears. that is just empty and not even fertile.
Anyone that has met Bryan?
Wow, that's a lot of space between your ears, bud.
Yes, and this courtyard is available for private rentals.
Oh.
And that is one way that we hope to help fund the different free offerings for the community. A bride can come have their wedding reception there. We're hosting a class reunion coming up, a birthday party. So come check it out.
And to To find out about that, who would they contact? How would they get hold of the Linda Fairley Wonderful Woman Art Center?
He's pushing for a renaming here.
Oh my goodness. It is.
I don't think Linda would object, really.
There's all the information on our website under venue rentals. It is www.carpinteriaartscenter.org, or our phone number, which is 805-684-7789.
And say that one more time, please.
805-684-7789. Or stop on by. Our office is open. We're in the cottage at the back of this courtyard, Monday through Friday, and then our gallery is open on the weekends.
And before it became the Linda Fairley Art Center and when it was the old art center, that gallery was the gallery.
Yes.
That little cottage was the gallery.
It was. And it was small and cozy, and it's just so wonderful that we could expand into the Charles LeBoux Gallery. We can hang a lot more artwork, and we're getting artists from further and further away submitting artwork.
I have a question for you because I know a lot of carpinterians, wonderful they are, do not like change. Was there any pushback to the expansion of the art center, the umbrellas, the shading, the style at all? Was there any pushback? I mean, it didn't obviously, it didn't hold sway, but I know there's always pushback when it comes to something like that. And that was, you did increase your footprint, a wonderful footprint, but it was increased.
So the original plans before the Cajun Kitchen was available was to build in our courtyard a 2-story building. And it came before the citizens, and everyone said, no, we want the open space. We don't want the modern look of a 2-story anything on Linden Avenue. And magically, when the Cajun Kitchen was available, we were able to open up the side of that building to extend into the courtyard, and now we have this incredible space for the community.
Fantastic. You know what? I think it's time for some music.
Okay.
Not that we don't enjoy hearing your wonderful voice and learning more about it, but you know what? Let's take our musical break and give everybody else a break from my jammering on. Hit Three Dog Night. Never been to Spain, and after that, Billy Strings again. I have to admit, I'm a big Billy Strings fan now, and his song Enough to Leave. But first, Three Dog Night. Never been to Spain. All right. This is Bryan with Bryan's Lunch Truck Radio with Kristina Calkins from the Linda Fairley Art Center. Just keep it straight on that one. And we're just talking about upcoming events. This coming weekend, again, is the Artist Tour. And
hey, that's a pretty neat concept. As awesome as the Arts Center is, it's a compact little space. So sending people out to the artists' homes, that's just a great concept.
And it's the perfect activity to do with your mother.
Yeah.
For Mother's Day weekend.
Exactly.
Stop for champagne brunch.
So you're already
lunch.
assuming everybody gets along with their mother. I like that. You're so nice. It's like, you know what you should, and you could just leave your mom in one of the studios. Just leave her there.
Yeah. There was some cab fare.
Really? Yeah, really. Cab fare. Oh my God, it's 1988. Uber.
Yeah.
And the artist will have their work for sale in the studio, and they're donating 50% of the sales back to the Linda Fairley Carpinteria Art
fantastic.
Center.
That's fantastic. And if anybody wants to get an idea what the artwork is like, again, come to the Art Center.
Yes.
And you can get and there is a good wide range of art.
Yes, definitely. And we have some brand new artists this year that haven't
She's opening up a page
been
right now.
part.
She's looking down halfway down the page, second page.
We have James Paul Brown in our studio.
Get down.
Yes.
Oh, James Paul Brown. Sorry.
And we also, for the first time, we have the Benjamin Anderson Sterling Studios, which have never been open to the public yet.
Wow. Where are they located?
On Sterling Way, kind of by Canalino School here locally.
Yeah.
Yes. And the Patricia Houghton Clark Studio, I know she just did a grand opening for her area. And we also have the Kim Snyder from the Linden Studio. So they're right there on Linden Avenue. It won't take you long to get there.
Hey, I want to deviate a bit because I think you got to experience something that not all moms get to experience, but the lucky moms get to experience. Tell me how you felt about when your daughter decided to take off and basically travel the world by herself.
Yes.
At that Rotary thing we were at, a month or two ago, She gave
Oh!
an eloquent speech, and I was just blown away. I really
Oh, that was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's really well spoken. She is so poised.
Yes, Emily took 7 months and went around the world solo with a backpack. My husband and I met traveling actually in Mexico during a total solar eclipse in 91.
Wow.
He used to travel and chase solar eclipses, and I was there with my Spanish teacher actually.
We
And
don't go into that, but
our stars align.
yeah.
And so she's always heard of these travel stories. And my husband also did a solo trip around the world when he was younger. And she always wanted to do it. And the pandemic forced her to pivot her life. She didn't get to go back east for college like she planned. So she made some pandemic lemonade.
I like that. Very good.
Yeah, because she was doing online school. She could take extra units. And she graduated early with her AA degree, which gave her a semester free. And so she strapped a backpack on. She was able to work extra during the pandemic, and she earned all her own money for the trip.
Fantastic. And because you've traveled, you understand, and traveled as a woman, you understand there's great joy and there are some pitfalls, but you knew you can't hold somebody back. They have to do that.
Yeah, her wings had been broken because of the pandemic, and she was so ready to fly. So I wasn't going to be the one to keep her in a cage. But I do admit I didn't sleep very well for 7 months, and my passport and cash was right next to me, ready. And every new country she went to, I would calculate who I knew where in the world and how quickly they could get there to help her. It's a mama's worry.
Oh, of course it is. Of course it is. And she went to Nepal, and I remember her talking about that was probably the most difficult
Definitely.
region that she's been
Scary
to.
place. She described it as a rather scary place.
And what did I don't want to get too personal, but what was some of the problems that she encountered?
She couldn't go out at night by herself, and even when she did, even when she was with a male, she would get touched. And she was dressed in the traditional wear and was conservative, and that was a big eye-opener to her as a young lady growing up in Carpinteria, that not every place in the world does a woman have the same liberties and rights.
Mm-hmm. Right, you can be violated. Public transportation,
Yes.
walking down the street.
Right.
And I think we, as men, don't realize how we, here in the States, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I think there's an innate realization by women that this is common. It's almost a part of the DNA. And I feel it's part of the DNA. Being aware of your surroundings, being what's going on. And the history of men violating women, not only terribly, but also gradually like that, subtly, like not as subtle, but subtly like that we have a responsibility not to do that. And when I say not to do that, I mean to stare, to lean in over the counter at the coffee shop.
To be an ass.
Yes, to be a creep. And you might be an innocent creep.
Well.
But when I say that, I have friends that are very nice, but they do lean over the counter. They do kind of invade this space. And so your daughter went to a whole country, a whole region where that space can be willingly invaded, and not much you could do.
Right. And my daughter was how I originally became involved in the Arts Center. She did the teen mural that Carpinteria Beautiful sponsors every year.
And we will do it again.
Bryan just happens to be the president.
I am the president.
And Janie Cohen, who's a volunteer at the Arts Center, kept track of Emily and asked her to volunteer at different events at the Arts Center. And she started taking art classes there. And I remember when they were looking for someone, I was like, obviously I'm passionate about this. Because when my daughter got to the middle school, the Carpinteria Middle School, there wasn't any art teacher, art programming.
Was that because the art programs, like the music programs, were cut?
Exactly. And so I reached out to the Art Center and Janie Cohen, and I said, hey, will you help me bring some art programming into the Carpinteria Middle School? And they started bringing volunteers in. And so when the Arts Center was hiring, I was like, obviously, this is something I'm passionate about. I think I'll make a career there.
Oh, fantastic. How did you end up in Carpinteria? Again, this is one of those cities that you come to and you kind of, oh, I like it here. And a lot of people do, and they stay.
Yeah.
Which is, and it seems to be an epicenter, and I'm not exaggerating, an epicenter for creative people. And how did you end up, how did you find this place? How did you find Carpinteria and stay?
I had an epiphany.
Can you say that 3 times?
I went to college at Westmont College.
Oh, wow, good, yeah.
And I'd never been to Carpinteria until my senior year because it was so far away from Montecito.
Oh, boy.
I had a friend that was living here, and I remember thinking, why would you live all the way in Carpinteria? And I came to visit her and have lunch, and I picked up a Coastal View News. And I flipped to read the Halos and Pitchfork, and I just fell in love with that
reads the
newspaper.
Halos and Pitchfork.
Go straight to it. Yeah.
And I remember saying, I want to live here. I want to raise my family here. This newspaper is so incredible. The downtown, the beach, and the people were so friendly. And it's been a dream. We couldn't quite afford to live here straight out of college. So we were able to work our way back when my daughter was in first grade. And I love it. I feel so thankful to be a part of this community.
Yeah, it's one of those things, again, working at the Alcazar for a Kenny Loggins event. I think they're doing a video there. And, of course, there's all these people. The audience came in, and he has his hangers-ons and his handlers, managers and cameramen and everything. You name it, they still has it. And this couple comes down, and they're like, this is such a cute town. Now, I asked them where they're from, and I expect them to say something like Studio City, Los Angeles. They go, Montecito. They have never been. Dennis is laughing.
It's a lovely little place.
They've never been
How
8
long has
miles
it been
south.
here? Yeah.
I bet if I asked them if they ever been to Musso and Frank's, they'd say, "Oh yeah, I go there all the time."
Yeah, right.
Or the Ivy. Oh my God, I love the Ivy. Carpinteria, huh? So it's one of those towns.
We are one of the best small town art towns in the United States.
And
I am confident.
And you know that from experience.
Yes, during the pandemic, school was virtual, work was virtual. So we took it on the road. Our family drove around the U.S. for 2.5 months.
Wow.
There my daughter was taking U.S. history, my younger daughter, in 7th grade, and she would be at the battlefield.
Yeah.
Or at the monument.
Cool.
And it was a great experience. We couldn't go inside any museums because everything was closed, but we went to all the national parks. And I tell you, to be in Yellowstone with no tourists,
Yeah.
it was amazing.
Treat.
That was a good experience.
Yeah, we camped when we could.
Why didn't you invite Caroline and myself?
I know.
God, we're just like, and we're there. We're like next door.
And I have to tell you a funny story about camping
There's no funny stories about camping.
well, Californians and living in beautiful this area. I don't think I took into consideration the rest of the U.S. and they don't have our beautiful weather.
Right.
I envisioned us camping the whole time, and we went November through January.
Oh, no.
It's a little cold out there.
Yeah, you gotta plan that carefully.
It's really, really
Yeah.
cold. It can be cold. I know.
Yes.
And you have to get used to it. And I don't camp anymore.
No.
No, I like hotel rooms.
No, it's this odd thing where you deliberately take all the comforts of life away from yourself.
And it's amazing.
I stopped understanding it a long time ago.
Neanderthal men worked for man and women worked for years and thousands of years to get away from that.
Yeah,
It's like the paleo diet. I'm like, we got away from this for a reason.
Yeah, and you find this fun.
Yeah, give me butter.
Yeah,
Give me butter
and Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
And speaking of butter and really good, yummy things to eat, on June 4th, our Palate to Palate auction is coming up, where you'll have an incredible array of fine wine and fine food. And tickets are now for sale. I promise lots of butter.
Thank you. Well, good. It'll be okay because I'll be working that
Oh, very good.
from 3:30 on. So
How are you going to volunteer? Are you pouring wine?
I don't know. Whatever you guys want me to do.
Oh, great.
Well, last time I was an ice tender, table mover, waiter, bon vivant.
Gotta be ready for
you
anything.
can wear mini hats, Brian.
I can wear many dresses.
But Brian, have you ever taken one of our art classes?
No, because I don't want to. It's that simple.
Oh, but did you know we offer so much more than art classes? You could take guitar lessons.
I am not
There
going to
you
take
go.
guitar
Our
lessons.
ukulele
that would be fun.
instruction.
My neighbor takes the ukulele lessons. He loves it.
Yeah.
He loves it.
Oh, people rave about
And so,
that.
yeah, tell us all what you do have in your classes, because you do have a wider range of classes, none of which I'll go to. Or Dennis, probably.
You never
Okay,
know.
now I
listen
really-
up.
I really want to find a class that Brian wants to take. We have a photo walk with Glenn Dubach,
Wow.
and he can teach you how to use your iPhone.
Thank you. Right now, Kristina's just cracking up. I feel like a 5-year-old.
But if you have an Android, you can go to hell. I mean,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
Just,
yeah.
Just iPhone.
iPhones.
Okay.
I love my iPhone. I do like my iPhone.
Oh.
I have to put it away. And I do on purpose because it become addicting. Social media can be addicting. I put it away on purpose for hours at a time.
Oh, any phone, really. It's
Yeah.
just, speaking a different language in a little bit.
And it's kind of become, I've read this great quote. I used to be an obnoxious know-it-all. Now with the iPhone, I'm a real obnoxious know-it-all. But it is handy. I use it a lot. And once you get a class on dialogues or short story writing, let me know.
But we love Glenn's photos.
Yes, he's good.
He's iconic here in
We
Carpinteria
have a
for the
lot
way
of good talent. David
portrays
Padrell.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's one. I love David Padrell. And if you don't know him, if you ever get to know him, you'll get to know one of the nicest, most generous, and creative people.
That is a true statement. And he just happens to have a wife that's equally as lovable.
Oh, she's great.
Valerie's one of
Yeah.
our star volunteers.
Right. No, she's a fantastic volunteer, a fantastic person. And I bet one of the best grandmothers ever.
Oh, definitely. Oh, Brian, I found a class for you.
Oh, what's that?
It says sip and dip.
There you go.
Oh,
Could
that's
you
it.
handle that?
Yeah, I could do that.
It's drinking wine and eating with a little bit of painting.
So they
Oh.
teach you how to do those things?
Yeah, I got 2 of them down. That's
what I'm saying. That's
the painting part.
I get an A on those.
You know, actually, now we're just Caroline, my wife would like that.
It's this Saturday. It would be an excellent date night.
Oh, that would be a good date night.
It's-
Except for this Saturday, I'm doing the walk chalk thing, and I'm working.
You know
wait,
what?
we
It's
can
not
back
this Saturday. It's last
Yeah,
Saturday.
okay.
But we're going to offer it again next semester because
The whole semester of wine drinking. Awesome.
we offer so many
Oh,
classes.
I'm cramming for finals.
Okay, so now I need to find a different class for Brian.
I'm sorry. We got the whole 2 different conversations. She's like, okay, that's like being with, isn't it like being like 2 5-year-olds?
Yeah. We're
Not
sorry.
you, Dennis. Kristina's the mature one here. You're the 5-year-old, for God's sake.
Sorry.
Sorry. Okay, let's get off this because we're going way off track. Let's get to some music. And you picked out Jack Johnson's Banana Pancakes.
Yes.
And why?
Because during the pandemic, I listened to a lot of Jack Johnson.
Oh,
He told me everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, that's the nature of what he does.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
And this is a cool song. So the first song will be Banana Pancakes by Jack Johnson. And then through some research, I found J.J. Cale, Sensitive Kind, which is a great song. I thought fit right into the show. And let's go hit it. Banana Pancakes. All right, listen, I'm already giggling here. This is Brian Lutz. This is Brian's Lunch Truck Radio on CarpinteriaValleyRadio.com. I'm with Kristina Calkins at the Fairly Arts Center. And we're almost out of time. And any last words?
Oh, certainly. Just can't wait for everyone to come downtown this summer to listen to some free community music the 3rd Saturday of every month. And I'm going to tell you the bands that are coming up.
Okay.
We have the Nombres, Will Stevens and the Essentials, Heart and Soul, South on Linden, Mestizo, and finishing it off with the Rincons.
All right.
And the Small Town Charm, if you don't know at least one of those band members, You better come and get to know them because you're probably
That's
neighbors.
a Carpinteria all-star lineup.
And that's amazing because that's the same flyer they had at Rolling Stones' first concert. You want to get to know the band, come on out.
Yeah.
And, you can have the Rincons and their own groupies. They'd be all 65 years old.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, there isn't. But this coming weekend, again, let's talk about the Artist Walk.
Yes, Artist Studio Tour this Saturday and Sunday. And you can come to our gallery Thursday through Sunday to check out the artwork, pick up a map, and decide which artists that you want to go visit. There's 23 total artists.
Wow.
From photographers to painters. You can even go to the Sunburst Wine Bar to
Okay.
see Matt Moore's pieces.
All right. Is there anything he doesn't do?
I know he surfs, he plays music,
I know.
and he drinks wine. What
Yeah.
more do you need to do?
Yeah, what more do you know? There's not. I can't think of anything else. He should have his own church.
Make some money.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, our final song is Que Sera Sera by Doris Day, who, by the way, did not like the song, and it's in the movie, Alfred Hitchcock's movie, The Man Who Knew Too Much, and it became a huge hit. And you told me, or you texted me, that your daughter was appalled that we're going to play this song, and why is that?
I think more like mortified.
Mortified.
I have two daughters, and my younger daughter, Evelyn, is 15 years old. And I was telling her about coming to lunch with you today, which, by the way, listeners, there is no lunch involved in this
no
lunch
lunch
truck.
Yeah.
I am so disappointed.
We're working on that.
Yeah.
We're working on that.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
And I was sharing some songs that I chose, and I told her I chose Que Sera Sera. And she's like, oh my gosh, Mom, please no, change it.
She did it.
And she blushed. It was so embarrassing for her. This is a song my grandmother used to sing.
Oh.
And so I sang it to my girls again and again, but I'd make up my own lyrics
Oh,
so
very
that they would
nice.
apply to my life.
Oh, I like that.
Wow.
And the song reminds me that we can be driven and we can be in control and plan things as much as we can, but in the end, que sera, sera.
Yep.
And I remember taking Spanish in high school and learning what que sera, sera means. What will be, will be. I know those words are in the song, but I never knew as a little kid that I was singing a foreign language.
Right.
And it's just kind of been part of my life. Whenever I get upset about something, I sing that song to myself, and it helps me remember.
It's your happy place.
It's
So
my
if we
happy
see you by
place.
the fountain at 2:00 in the morning singing Que Sera Sera, we know you're upset.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's okay. We won't bother you then. We
Yeah.
don't want to stop that flow at all. So
good.
it's. I'm sorry, Casey. Is your daughter listening?
She will be, and she'll say, "Oh, Mom."
No, don't be embarrassed. Parents are there to embarrass their kids.
Exactly.
35% of the time.
Right.
I think I'm succeeding then.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. All you got to do is start talking slang that's like 5 years out of date.
Yeah.
And that'll just do it to it.
Like
you
the
know?
youngsters do.
LOL.
Oh my God, I'm even embarrassed. Okay, guys. Bryan's Lunch Truck Radio, CarboneraValleyRadio.com. Kristina Calkins, thank you. Art Studio Walk this weekend. Again, the address for the Linda Fairley Art Center.
Is 865 Linden Avenue.
And what time can they register for the walk?
You don't have to
Oh,
register.
okay.
That's the beauty of it. If you pick up your mom and you realize, oh, I don't have plans today. You've got plans.
Right,
You've
yeah.
got 23 different artists that are opening up their studios for you to bring mom by.
Oh, that's fantastic. And if you want, you can leave. Well, your daughter probably like to leave mom and a couple of them. Like, you can have her. Que Sera Sera debacle. Okay, let's leave it. Doris Day, Que Sera Sera, Bryan's Lunch Truck Radio, CarpinteryValleyRadio.com.
If you missed any today, the replay is tomorrow at 5 o'clock and Tuesday at 5 o'clock.
Yes, you can have 2 more hours of this silliness. Everybody have a good one. Bye-bye now. Que Sera Sera.
Bryan's Lunch Truck pulls in every Thursday at noon Pacific at CarpinteriaValleyRadio.com.